Conformity gate, 4 minutes late, ignoring the hate. What do these three things have in common? Well, except for being some hard bars that I'm spitting, one thing. They mean nothing. They're just words put together. Sounds nice, whatever. But people, and a lot of people, not me included, but me intriguingly enough included, into a theory that would never happen in reality. It's not possible. And there's a lot to go over here, more than there should be. But the most important thing I want to key in on is anybody who actually was genuinely buying into this. Let's think about this on a larger scale. This is a show, very popular, more popular than even I realized. I actually just recently caught up on it for the first time ever this last summer. So I wasn't always in on the hype, yada yada. I think the show's great. The ending is what the ending is, but that's besides the point. I feel like we all kind of know our opinions on that by now. But think about this. This is the biggest premiere of a show's season since probably Game of Thrones last season. This is on Netflix, so it's a little different, releasing multiple episodes at a time. It's kind of a relatively new trend. And they planned these dates out so far in advance to garner their audience and prepare them for the expectation of what they were going to get. There was never a reality where they were going to create this trust and these expectations with their audience on set dates that people could pick and choose, and then just randomly drop the actual finale on a totally another day. That wouldn't make any sense. That would not make any sense. You think they really would create a finale with the mindset of, we're going to make this total shit ass finale that everybody's going to have their opinions on, no one's loving it, and then we're going to drop the actual finale and it's going to be the best thing ever. Oh my god, and it's going to work. Come on. It was never going to work. Right? And I think the issue here isn't so much so that Conformity Gate didn't happen. It's that people expected it to happen because of these expectations, and I want to really key in on my opinion on these grossly high expectations that were created through this, and why they were created, and what to do in the future for future shows to maybe alleviate this from being a problem. Because I really look back on this, and I'm like, I don't think it's as bad. It's not so bad that it deserves to be forming these fucking conspiracy theories where, oh, it was not even real. It didn't actually happen. Oh my gosh, it was so horrible that we have to like make up a fake story of what actually went wrong. So anyway, I want to tackle the macro idea of this, and then from there, maybe we can find an understanding of how to properly handle shit like this in the future as an audience, and possibly as creators. We'll see. So the first thing I really want to go over is this axe bullshit that Netflix has been doing. Other shows have done it as well, but this is the first time that I really think it has made a show completely fuck the landing entirely. So, first of all, releasing an axe is risky because you're either going to give us the full season or episode by episode. Those are the two formats that we're the most used to as an audience. And now you're introducing this axe thing where, okay, we're going to give you a little dose, right? This, and then a month later, we're giving you this, and then a week later, for whatever reason, we're giving you this. And this is a disservice to the audience because the audience has these expectations. They're never going to get met. And the way acts should work is they should be arcs, right? Like the end of Act 1 feels like the end of Act 1. It doesn't feel like you're just cutting it off to cut it off. And I think with Act 1 of this, it was fine, relatively. It ended on the best episode of the season. Critics and fans seem to agree on that. And it didn't feel like abrupt or like, it was like a cliffhanger, but not in a bad way. You can have good and bad cliffhangers. Another side topic I don't need to get into. But then we get into the next act, Act 2. And Act 2 was a complete disaster. You see it. It's the lowest rated episode of the entire show, beating out an episode that fans hate. And the thing that's different is that the episode that fans hate prior was like released as an entire season, so it was like legitimate hate. This hate, I believe, is being completely blown out of proportion because of the way that it was released. This episode, the finale of the second act, whatever, so much to say, it fell flat on its face because you're running out of screen time by that point, right? We're going into season 5 before this weird time skip, and we're like, oh my gosh, all this shit is about to just fucking go down. And suddenly, oh no, actually, somehow, even though the action is literally happening, we somehow have a massive time skip where nothing really happened and went wrong. And then the first 7 episodes of the final season are just build up to the finale. That wasn't what we wanted. Just get to it, right? And so these 3 in the second act are entirely build up. And, you know, you're hearing all this shit from the actors and the writers that, oh, we're doing more than we've ever done. This is going to be so amazing. And then it's just all right, it feels awful. It feels like it's terrible. And that's where I really think this fell flat on its face, is just these expectations that were created that we were forced to indulge in and believe in, right? I mean, one of the things they did was like, oh, one of the deaths in this season, most gruesome death we've ever done, yada yada. Okay, why'd you tell us that? It's just some random, clearly, it's just some random military dude getting just spiked through the face by Vecna, which was cool, but like, why do you have to tell us? Like, the hype was just so unnecessary at points. And then all of this to say, if you don't release the season, if you release the season week by week, you let people digest it one at a time, pretty naturally. Or you release it all at once, and people just binge watch it, and they don't create expectations of what's to come. Instead, this time around, they released them 4 episodes, 3, 1. With a week between the second half, or the second act and the last act. Giving people time to dissect the 3, which is not a lot to work with. But also draw lines and be like, oh, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to happen. And everybody's getting hyped because, like, who's going to be right, who's going to be wrong. But that doesn't work ever. Because you don't want the fans to be able to predict it, but you also don't want them to be underwhelmed when their predictions are better than the product. And so you have to try to avoid letting that happen. And so what happened here is, I saw one of the Duffer Brothers or something said, oh yeah, I've been reading all y'all's theories, yada yada, and nobody predicts the ending. Nobody got it right. And people are seeing that and hyped, right? Oh shit, they're doing something we don't expect. Oh my god, nobody guessed it. That's awesome. Because that's what we want. That's the funny part. We make predictions and we want to be right, but we kind of want to be wrong. You'd rather, if you were watching a show and exactly what thought was going to happen, you'd be like, oh, I'm the best, I fucking called it. But that's about all. You'd be very underwhelmed no matter what. But the answer here is, when he said that, whichever one of them said that, they were right for the wrong reason. They're right because obviously they know the actual ending, but they're wrong. They're right for the wrong reason, because the reason they're right is because they played it so incredibly safe. And I think this is the problem, is they played it safe, and no one in the right mind is going to come up here, make a video, and make a prediction of, hey, so my prediction is, well, we're going to go to this new dimension, we're going to fight the 2 bad guys, and we're going to win. Straight up. No plot twists, no character turns, no deaths, nothing. The only death is an ambiguous death. We got half a death, if you really want to put it in that kind of a term. And then that brings me to my next point of playing it too safe, and why this feels like such a blunder when it really is just fine. You play it too safe, and you've got 2 reactions. you're either going to have somebody who's like, it was fine, right? That's kind of me. I'm kind of like, yeah, it's fine. But then you're going to have the other side of people who are like, oh, I expected all this, I expected this, I expected that, I'm disappointed, I'm pissed, right? And so when you play it safe, if you average out neutral and hate, you're averaging out to just kind of mediocre hate, right? And so you're not winning as a writer, as a creator, in the long run, playing it safe. It's better take a risk, kill somebody, do something crazy, and let the audience fight it out themselves, right? You're going to have people, no matter what your ending is, no matter how awful or out there it is, you're going to have people that defend it, and you're going to have people that hate it. Don't create an ending that's meant to please everybody. And that's kind of what happened here. And another thing is, going back to what I said a second ago, telling us that the finale had not been predicted. Why? Why tell us that? Like, that is just information that we don't need to have at all. And I just feel like it leads to, it almost hurts your narrative more to tell the audience that they were wrong, right? Like, let the audience believe they could be right, you know? It's kind of like you're discouraging them from doing something that they're obviously going to want to do. I digress on that point, but I just personally in the future would like to see shows not tell the audience that, oh, you didn't guess it, you're wrong, idiots, whatever the mindset was, and they're telling us that, because now you look like the idiot because you're the one who had a safe ending that nobody wanted to predict. And finally, on this theme of telling us too much, Act 2, which I've already said was a disaster, the thing they were hyping up the most throughout, and they were telling us this the month in between Act 1 and 2, was everything you know about the Upside Down is going to change. Everything. And that's very intriguing, right? You're pumped. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing that's existed since season 1 that we don't really understand entirely still is going to have just this plot twist, whatever you want to look at it as. However you read what that says, you're going to read it into the most depth possible. And that created hype. And so then in Act 2, when the reveal comes in and it's, oh yeah, well, so the whole time you thought the Upside Down was the other dimension, well, in reality, it's actually just the bridge. It's actually just the whatever, that's a portal, wormhole to the other dimension. Cool. Very cool to find that out. But yet again, falling victim to the same tale that everything else did. Let us find that out ourselves. Let everybody who's making videos and talking about this, let them react and be like, holy shit, I never saw that fucking coming. Oh my god. Oh, Duffer Brothers are so good at writing. Instead, it's just like, oh, that's the reveal? Oh, cool. It kills your own reveal that you were getting so hyped up about, that you wanted us to get hyped up about. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, anyway, just to sum up a lot, I've got a couple more things to say, but nothing crazy, nothing you haven't heard already. So at this point, if you've heard enough from my mouth, you can just back off. I get it. I think I've said my piece. But just to address the actual criticism with the finale, yeah, I mean, a couple of plot holes that I've seen, just to run a couple through real quick, because there's honestly a lot. People just are super critical, surprisingly. Not surprisingly at all, is where the fuck were the Demogorgons during the fight? And I'm not going to lie. My original theory when I was watching the show, because I'm not watching as a critic, I'm watching as a fan who's excited to see what they're going to do. My original theory was that the Demogorgons' bodies are what made up the Mind Flayer's physical form, and so it was like they kind of had to, like, the same way that they used like the human bodies to make it in the mall fight. I thought that made sense, but then one of the Duffer Brothers comes out and says, oh yeah, Vecna didn't expect the sneak attack. Damn. Like, that sucks. That's the best you got? Whatever. That is a plot hole. I actually didn't look at it as one, and then he made it into one. Kind of funny and ironic. Other ones I've seen, Max graduating, valid. Feels like an actual plot hole. Feels like a legitimate, didn't think about it, didn't care to think about it, focused on the happy ending. You get what you get. You don't pitch a fit. And then a big plot hole in terms of just plot convenience is twofold. The army just letting us go. Really? We killed y'all. Like, we committed war crimes. Like, in bulk. Like, we're just going to forget about it. People called this out, and it was one of the big things leading into the conformity gate being so popular. And it turns out, sadly, yeah, it is just, we don't have time to go over that. The other part of that double-layered plot hole in this is that, does Eleven just know this? Assuming she actually did kill herself, or sacrifice herself, sorry. It would lead you to believe that somehow she had a clue or an idea that, oh yeah, as long as I'm out of the picture, they will obviously just be free, right? We didn't do anything wrong except for kill a ton of their people. But whatever. The point is, tear it apart, bring up plot holes, make the viewing experience worse for yourself. All of it's valid, though. Finally, my biggest issue, because I don't really care about plot holes. I feel like if you just don't overthink it, it doesn't matter, because it's just not relevant to our actual viewing experience. Stuff can happen behind the scenes that we didn't see, that they felt we didn't need to see, and a lot of that could fall under that category. My biggest problem is answers that we weren't given. One of the biggest ones, because people were theorizing this one often and to a large scale, why 12 kids? Why not 15? Why not 10? Why not 8? Why 12? My original theory was that that was the amount of legs that the Mind Flayer had. I didn't count. I haven't counted. I don't care enough about my shitty theory to actually test if it's somewhat valid. Because I haven't seen anybody say that, so I feel like I'm just wrong, which is cool. I also assume it has 8 legs because of the spider symmetry between Henry with whatever. So I assume it's 8, but they never told us why 12. People were saying clocks have 12 sides, but it's like, okay, aside from that, that's like a cool nod. Why would that actually matter? They didn't go into that, which I was a tad bit disappointed in. And some other things that I feel like just straight up weren't answered is literally anything about the Mind Flayer. See, going into this finale, I was even starting to fall victim to theorizing. Oh my gosh, everybody else is getting hyped. I might as well fucking put my hat in the ring and see what I can come up with. My prediction, I never thought Henry was going to get a redemption arc, so I was glad when they faked us out with that didn't actually happen, because I feel like that would feel almost forced. And it did, but they tricked us, and I think it's one of the best parts of the entire finale is that it was like we're going to redeem him, psych. Sick. Love that. But we don't learn anything about the Mind Flayer. Like I was saying, my theory was that the Mind Flayer represented the evil within Henry, and it was his evilness personified in a universe that was possibly created by him, for him, because of his origin of the powers. I don't know. I didn't really have a really deep theory on this. I haven't seen the play or read all the synopsis on that or whatever, so I was really just freeballing. But the fact that the answer we ended up getting in the finale about the Mind Flayer was just nothing of its origin. Nothing. And there's future shows for it, so we'll see. But as of right now, we basically know it's basically just this thing that exists in this other reality that can corrupt you, but can't beat a couple of kids with some flamethrowers. Wild. Finally, and maybe this gets touched on in the play, don't care, barely canon in my mind. It's not in the show, it's not canon. Fight me, I don't know. Whatever. But why did they have to show us in Max's, no, it's not her memories, but her traveling through his memories, Henry's memories. Why was it important for us to know that he knew Joyce and Hopper? Why was it important for that? That bothers me. Why do we need to know that? I was building up all this expectation, but yet in the show we never get it established that they even ever know who Vecna truly is. Maybe they do, but they don't ever explicitly go, that's him, oh, he was always so strange. Whatever. We didn't get that. And those are my biggest complaints. Overall, I think it's fine. And just to sum up the entire video, I actually don't have a problem with the finale, regardless of whatever the vibe I might be giving off is. My biggest takeaway here is a message to the audience at large. Anybody who listens to this, anybody who watches shows, anybody who had anything positive or negative to say about the finale or think about it, because we all have negative things and some positive things, some of us. We need to relax, okay? We need to be able to break it down and go, the reason the series finales tend to fall on their face is because of us, is because the answer is not, oh, the finale sucked. The answer is you don't want your favorite show to end. And so you have to almost appreciate a show like this ending while it's on top of the earth, the best thing out there, the biggest thing out there. And we have to appreciate that they're willing to let it go before it lets itself go. Like we've seen with so many shows in the past, recent past too. One of my favorite shows of all time, The Walking Dead, fell victim to this exact same kind of, to the thing I'm talking about, not what Stranger Things fell victim to. Stranger Things fell victim to being a victim of their own success and their own vision that they've pushed upon us, which I already talked about. But again, you got a show like The Walking Dead, where it ran its time out. It was the juggernaut of the television industry. It was getting more views than any show had ever seen. And they wrote it until it died, and they're still writing it until as it dies out. And it sucks to see Stranger Things following a similar model, where, very rarely do we get these new IPs, these new ideas that have no source material, no something to base it off of, prior characters, prior stories, yada yada, and we rehash it. I think new ideas should be opened and appreciated and encouraged. And now seeing that Stranger Things is going to make 6? I don't even know. I saw the timeline, and I hate to see that. Really, I feel like we gotta appreciate these once moment things that just work and everybody loves, and then we send them on their way, and then the next thing fills its shoes. Don't write it. Everything has an expiration date, and so overall, finale was fine. I would give it, if you want a rating, I would give the finale a 7, and I would give the show, sorry, there's some free ball in this, but I would give the show a 7.5 overall. Very good, not very rewatchable, actually, though. I will say, as much as I'm defending the finale, I do feel like the show played itself so safe that you almost, there's nothing to appreciate the second time around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will end up rewatching it. But besides the point, overall, we need to just temper our expectations with finales, appreciate what we get, and move on to the next show. And realize that you can probably count on your one hand how many shows you've watched all the way through that had a good ending, that you were happy with. And of those 5 shows that you can name, if you can even name 5, I can guarantee you none of them, not all of them, are agreed upon as good endings. And that's the answer here. And so, yeah. I'm bad at wrapping shit up. I'm really sorry Conformity Gate didn't happen. As much as I didn't believe in it, as evidenced by this video, I wish it did. It would have been awesome. But not for them, for us, for the audience, for the diehard audience who wanted it. For the creators, it would have been awful to rely on such a stunt. It would be risky, and if it landed on its feet, I'd be incredibly wrong. I don't think it would have. I think it would have gotten hit with... I just don't think it would have worked. Why would you ever throw away a fun... this finale episode was probably, $50 million more just to make the last episode, and you were telling me that they would just be like, yeah, no, it didn't matter. I digress. Let me know your opinions. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on finales in general and how you think people should handle them in the future, showrunners and the audience, in terms of how we tackle and how we think about it. And yeah, I'll make some more content on future shows, stuff in the media, what have you in the future. And I appreciate you watching. Thanks.